All right, 11:17 on this Thursday. It is March the 10th. Welcome back to Central Valley Talk Live. This is Artists and Authors. We thank you for joining us. I'm Austin Reed, coming to you from our Tower District studios inside the Mike Briggs building. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Austin Reed on air. You know, Central Valley Talk celebrates what's great about the Central Valley, and one thing that's great here is the Rogue Festival, and it is happening right now. Back in person this year, fully in person, which is super exciting. And my next guest is Les, and he is performing in the Rogue Festival tonight, the Real Black Swann, Confessions of America's First Black Drag Queen.
Yes.
And this is the world premiere.
Right, exactly. Because of COVID and everything that was going on, I was set to do the show last year, but then everything was canceled. Right. So I did the show, but I did it on Zoom, which is, I did it from my dining room table.
Yeah, it ain't the same.
Right. So it's so cool to be back in person. And so, yes, here at the Rogue, it's the world premiere. It's the first time I've ever done it on a stage in front of an audience.
Now, tonight, you're going.
Yes, tonight,
right?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And where is this going to be at?
It's over at the Vista Music Academy.
Okay, perfect. Tell me about America's First Black Drag Queen, because this is a true story.
It's a true story, yes. It's a true story about William Dorsey Swann. Okay. And he was born into slavery, survived the Civil War, and then went on to become, what he did, he would dress in drag, he was openly gay, he would throw these secret drag parties, and this was in Washington, D.C. And the thing is, he was arrested several times for... he did some stealing and stuff too, but he got arrested several times though for being in drag. Wow. And one of his parties got raided. He was sentenced to 10 months in jail, and he wrote an appeal to try to get pardoned, and so that made him the first gay activist.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this story. Wow.
Not a lot of people have.
Right.
Not a lot of people have. And so the sad thing about this is when you go to research on William, there's not a lot of information out there. There are a few public records, like there is a public record about the arrest and a few other things, but there's not a lot of in-depth information about it. And so now that I've started researching, I think it's one of my missions to get the information out there.
Yeah, talk about the research. I mean, me as a journalist, right. I know what that's like. For folks that, don't really know what all goes into it.
Right. Well, I started off on Google with, looking for court records and just even stories about him. And one of the things that I noticed very quickly was the story that I read is basically the same story that's regenerated in different magazines. And so, like I said, I started doing some research and looking for court records and things like that. There are a few things out there. The picture on the cover of my flyer is one of the only pictures of William Dorsey Swann. And it got to the point that I contacted a friend of mine who used to be in publishing, and I was telling her about my problem, and she's like, well, there's this guy, he's writing a book. Why don't you email him? He may or may not get back to you. I emailed him. He actually emailed me back.
I love that.
And he was like, you know what? I'm having trouble too. And the book, I think, was supposed to come out in like 2019, 2020. And he's like, I had to push my book back. It's 2022. The book is still not out yet. It's supposed to come out this year, but that's how little information there is out there about him.
All right, walk us through the show tonight.
Okay. So, the show tonight, I start out telling William's story, and I kind of I intersperse it with my story, and then somewhere in the middle of the show, I get into drag myself.
You become
I become William.
Swann. Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
How long is the show going to be?
The show is tonight, tomorrow. So tonight, Thursday,
Okay.
Friday, tomorrow night, and Saturday. And the Rogue, Saturday is the last day of the Rogue. Right. Tonight the show's at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night the show's at 8:30 p.m. And Saturday it's at 2 in the afternoon.
For you as an African American, doing all of this work, and during this time of the research, did you feel a connection?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of the themes and a lot of the things that he went to, actually, we're still dealing with.
Right.
You know, the summer of 2020, the Black Lives Matter movement. There's the same themes. The same themes are going on.
Right.
And the thing that I realized about William Dorsey Swann is, think about it for a second. He was throwing these secret drag balls. We had a TV show called Pose, which was about, the drag ball scene.
Yeah.
RuPaul's Drag Race. We wouldn't have that without William Dorsey Swann.
Right.
Madonna's song Vogue. We wouldn't have that. So, that's why I'm so shocked that there's not more information out about him.
This reminds me of the Tulsa situation.
Right.
And it's like, suddenly that's now coming out.
Right.
I didn't learn about
Right.
that in school.
Right.
So it's cool that you're able to do this and get this story out, because it's going to help people too, right?
And it's an honor, because I believe I'm one of the first.
See, that's amazing.
And so I don't think that I think I am the first show about this guy. So guess what, Fresno?
We got it. I love it. How can people get more information in the meantime?
Okay, so you can go on the Rogue Festival website, which is www.fresnorogue.com.
Okay.
Because not only do I have a show, there are several shows. Literally, people from all over the country, all over the world, are here in Fresno, in the tower, to do shows. So check out my show, but then check out a bunch of others as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. And again, this is the last weekend for it.
Yes.
So we'll see you next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Les, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm Austin Reed. You're watching Artists and Authors from CentralValleyTalk.com.